ever since my Landcruiser has been lifted, it's made a lot of noise on the interstate, especially above going 50 miles an hour. And the general culprit tends to be the driveline. So I have caster correction arms on mine. I've got probably a 3.5 inch, 4 inch lift on my Landcruiser, but the front end makes some wild noises when I'm going. Took a video of it, maybe we can hear a little bit what it sounds like. The angle that we have between here and here, the transfer case and the front differential, typically tends to be a little bit steep. The solution is to put a double Cardan joint right here. There's a few different ways you can go about getting one. You can get one off of, you can just get a Tom Woods Driveshaft. That's a pretty normal way. They can run about 500 bucks. You get a little bit smaller of a joint, but I've never heard of them breaking. You could also get a Land Tank. Land Tank sells a pre-made double Cardan joint, but you keep your Koyo joints, which are these bigger Toyota guys. Or you can go about sourcing your own driveline, having a driveline shop retube it and make it the size that you need it to be. And that's the route I've gone with. But before you get to that point, I mean, you kind of need to narrow down that actually is your drive shaft, because lots of people say it's kind of a Landcruiser by Landcruiser basis on if it's going to make loud noise while you're driving. The best way to do that is to pull out this drive shaft, lock up the center diff, and then just drive it around town and see if you're still getting that weird noise that's coming. Before you pull out your drive shaft, you want to make sure that your e-brake is on, if it works, and your center differential is locked. That way, that open differential isn't just going to let it roll away as soon as you pull that drive shaft out. So the way to do that is to lock up the center diff. I put a center lock differential button in my Landcruiser. That's a super easy modification. You could do that, or if you don't have that, you can still do it. So you can put it in low range. If you put it in low range, it's going to automatically lock that diff. Now the difference is, because I've added that button, it actually doesn't do it to mine, but typically that light would come on as soon as you put it into low range, and then your differential is going to be locked. The problem with that is if you're investigating to go, is it actually my front drive shaft that's making that weird vibration noise at speeds higher than 40-50 miles an hour? You can't keep it in low range to go that fast. You just won't go that fast. So what you need to do is keep that center differential locked while being able to put it back into high range. And luckily that's not really an issue on these. Option number one, add the button. That's super easy. But also what you can do is flip it into low gear. Then you need to come down here to your fuse panel. You need to find your differential fuse right here. It's this 30 amp one down the corner, and pull it out. So that's going to be this guy right here. That's going to be your fuse for your center differential lock. If you pull that out while it's in low range and that diff lock is on, then what you can do is put this back into high range, and that diff lock is still gonna stay on. It's gonna stay in that locked position. So at this point, you know, you're good to go. You're gonna be running just rear wheel drive. Your drive shaft will be out, or you'll take it out at this point. You can drive it around, and you'll just be running rear wheel drive. If you get stuck on the trail and you break something, additionally, that is a great way to lock that center diff without having to do any other weird modifications. Once you've decided that your driveline is actually the thing that's causing that vibration, then you need to get going on making a new one if you want to deal with it. The truth is, I've driven this thing probably 20,000 miles with the crappy driveline vibration. Hasn't been a big deal, it's just real annoying. But if you decide to fix it, and you want to do it the DIY way, which will save you, you know, quite a bit of money, then this is the way to do it. So my driveline's been modified already, but what I did is I pulled the driveline out of a first gen Toyota Tacoma extended cab. There's some rumors floating around that the pre-runners are a little bit beefier, but if you get from a pre-runner or a four-wheel drive, it's the same thing. So this is the rear drive shaft. This is what's called the intermediate drive shaft, and this is the one that you need. It's gonna have that double Cardan that you want. The rear piece, you know, it's gonna come like this, but essentially you're gonna throw it away. This piece from the factory is gonna be a little bit too long. I've had mine shortened already, so it's actually gonna match my factory size quite well, but you're gonna need to have it shortened. I picked up my driveline for 30 bucks. All the joints were good. So then you just need to have it retubed or shortened. It's a little bit weird. These drive lanes, if you look at this, and I'll try and post up a picture as well, but it's skinnier here than it is here, which limits the amount that you can actually shorten the drive lane. If you need to shorten it over, say, like ½ an inch, you actually need to have it retubed, which costs a bit more. So in my case, I did need to have it shortened a bit, so I had to have it retubed. If I was just going to shorten it, the driveline shop was going to charge me $100, but because I had to have them retube it, it cost me $250. So all in, I'm $280 into this project. The next cheapest one that you can get is a new manufacturer, Tom Woods, which is $500, or that Landtake, which I believe is about $700 or $800. So still a little bit of savings there. For the driveline shop to properly retube your new drive shaft, they're gonna need a measurement from the face of the flange to the face of the flange. They'll work out all the details on how much, what actually needs to happen, because you have that spline that slides in there. You just need to get them this measurement from the face of the flange, with your rig just under normal load, not loaded, just under normal load. And so the best way to do that is just to get your tape measure between the two places and see what you end up with. It's best to measure from, I like to measure from the side. The bottom and the top might be a little bit different than the side. So go from the side there, the side there. I've got about 31 1/4 from here to there. And so 31 1/4 is the measurement I'm gonna give the driveline shop to say, hey, I need this driveline to be 31 1/4. And they'll be able to make that information work. There's one more measurement that you need to check on these. The Landcruiser has a 60mm by 60mm flange, which means you have 60mm between these holes, 60mm between these holes, and that's gonna be the same on either side. If you're doing the first gen Tacoma drive shaft, it's gonna work, it'll be right. But if you're pulling it off of a 4Runner or a Tundra, then I think the sizes change a little bit. What you need to do is just pull off your Toyota drive shaft, your Landcruiser. Check to make sure that that is 60, which, I've moved this a little bit, but it is. Boom. There you go. That's about 60mm. Check that all the way around. It should be right unless somebody's done something weird with your Landcruiser. If you don't have a little caliper, you can use your tape measure. It's going to be about 2 3/8 inches from the hole to the hole. So go ahead, make sure that your Landcruiser actually is 60 by 60, which it should be unless somebody's done something weird. And then go to your new drive shaft, and then you also need to make sure, preferably before they retube it, that it is not 60 by 60 or 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. Put it down there, we'll get that same measurement. And that needs to be the same across both sides. Drive shop has retubed this to be our 31 1/4, 60 by 60 here, 60 by 60, 60 by 60. It's good to go. That thing's gonna fit right in and it should be awesome. You need to make sure that everything's in phase. All right, we need to pause this video. I'm coming to you from a few thousand miles later, and right there I said you need to make sure everything needs to be in phase. So just to talk about that a little bit, this is the factory service manual for Toyota Landcruiser, Lexus LX450, same thing. And this is our front drive shaft. So the factory service manual calls for this drive shaft to be out of phase. And we can see that because this side has the end horizontal, whereas this side has it vertical. And what that looks like in real life is we're just gonna look at our center section of our drive shaft. We've got this side that's poking up, that's connected to our center section. And then we have this side that's laying flat, this piece right here. This means it is 90 degrees out of phase. Now this is what the factory service manual calls for. I read a little bit of information that led me to believe that the new double Cardan drive shaft should be in phase, and I'll show you what in phase looks like. If it were in phase, then we'd have our center section of our drive shaft, this would be vertical, and this would be vertical as well. This is how I installed my double Cardan joint at the very beginning after I rebuilt it and put it in. I was getting that same, well, not quite the same vibration noise, it was much less, but I was getting a vibration noise nonetheless. I went in, looked at the factory service manual, I was like, well, obviously it needs to be 90 degrees out of phase according to this. Internet doesn't have very much information on if it should be in phase or if it should be out of phase. So I went ahead and swapped it to 90 degrees out of phase to be just like this illustration. Not to be like this where both are up, but to be like this where this one's up and this one's over. Once I did that, it cleared up the vibration significantly. The one thing that did have to happen is I had to take it back to the driveline shop. They had to rebalance it for that out of phase, and then it worked great. So we need to make sure that this isn't in phase, but that it's actually out of phase, 90 degrees out of phase, like the factory service manual calls it out to be. I'll leave a little bit of a video. It's a little bit of an older video, but it shows a cool illustration of what it looks like to be in and out of phase on a drive shaft. It's a little bit older, but it's pretty neat. Anyways, back to the video. You might as well grease everything up while it's out because it's easy. It's just ready to go in. All right, and there you have it. There's what our new double Cardan drive shaft looks like in here. And, you know, nothing dramatic changed, but hopefully it stops making that noise. I'll post a link to the mud forum where they talk about the different vehicles you can do a DIY version of this is. The important thing is that you're looking at that flange size, and, you know, retubing isn't that big of a deal. But there you have it. Thanks for watching.